Hello my dear friends, welcome to live prep. So myself Dr. Gajapati Varma. So in this video we are discussing about what is the syllabus for NEET examination actually, and for that particular examination what are the books that we need to refer. So all those things I will discuss in this particular short video. So let us quickly go through this, and this particular video is for 11th, 12th, even for repeated students also. Even though you know about this, but please go through this because here I am trying to give you some information and many students are missing this particular small information. So I am expecting that before you are starting the course, please go through this particular video. Now let us quickly go through this. We know that NEET examination is conducted by NTA, and here we are observing that. So every year if you are observing the number of students who are appearing for NEET examination, so more than 80% of students are writing in English medium. And what is the significance of this particular one? Please remember, generally whenever they are preparing the question paper, so actually they will set the main paper in English medium only, and then according to the convenience of students, so they will translate this into some regional languages. But please understand, so generally when we are using the some of the scientific terms, so it is not always that much easy to translate into the local languages. So in this way sometimes some mistakes may happen while converting into some local languages. So that is the reason why generally whenever they are conducting the examination, they will give one particular line that the whatever the question paper that was set in English medium will be the final. So what is the meaning of this? That means if there are any mistakes in the translation, so they will not take the responsibility. So that is the reason why generally majority of the students are going for English medium. And not only that, so we are getting more reference books or more number of the reference books in the English medium, and that too even in higher education also. So since in majority of the colleges, so they are teaching in English, so and that too references will be easily obtained for English medium. So mainly majority of the students are going for the English medium, and that too anyhow, so our medium of instruction is also in the English only. So that is the reason why we are talking about this particular point. So please remember this one, okay. And next one, the thing is, what are the books that we need to refer for NEET examination? This is the major and most important one, because so some students are from ICSE syllabus, some students are from CBSE syllabus, and some students are from different state board syllabuses. So in this case, the what is the syllabus for NEET examination? This point you need to observe carefully. Please remember NTA, whatever NEET is conducted by NTA, right? So NTA is not saying that we are following only NCERT. Please understand this point. NTA is not saying that we are following only NCERT. They are giving their own syllabus. Actually NMC is giving the syllabus for NEET examination. But please remember that syllabus whatever is given by NMC mainly means 99% is from NCERT. This is what the information is. Then what about the remaining small content of 1%? So that may be from the different other state boards. So please understand. So that is the reason why we are not saying that 100% it is from NCERT only. We are saying that 99% it is from NCERT. So that 1% may be from different boards. And please remember, technically it is impossible to go through all the state board syllabuses. So that is the reason why. So mainly we are sticking ourselves to this NCERT content, and that too wherever it is required. So anyhow, as part of the teaching, so we will cover the remaining information. So definitely you will get the complete content. So you don't need to worry about this. But as a student, what are the books at least? See, since you cannot go through all these books, and that too, suppose you are purchasing some reference books in the market, so they will definitely give some out of the content. So some huge content will be there, and as a student, you don't need to go through that particular reference book also. So what we are suggesting is simply go through the NCERT content. So you don't need to purchase any reference book from the market. So simply NCERT and our class, our lectures, our notes, that much is enough. Unnecessarily don't take any extra burden. Please understand this. So if you are spending some time on reading something that is not useful to examination, then what is the use of this particular preparation? So don't waste time on unnecessary things. So definitely here we will cover each and every point that is needed for examination, and anyhow we will specify what is there in NCERT, what is not there in NCERT. Each and every point will be mentioned. So that is the reason why, so when you are going through the regular lectures, So at that time you should be little bit careful. Anyhow, we will mention that point if anything is out of NCERT. Anyhow, today itself I will discuss some few points regarding that out of NCERT content also. So before to that, what is NCERT and why we need to refer NCERT? Just now I told you why we need to refer NCERT, because majority of this is followed by NTA. 99% of this syllabus will be followed. So that is the reason why. So we are mainly referring this particular NCERT textbooks. Is it clear? Next one. Then next question will be, what is the content that is from NCERT? Then how you will say that? Suppose they are asking a question in examination. How you will decide that whether it is from NCERT or out of NCERT? Now here many students are making mistake. So many students are thinking that what is from NCERT means they are thinking that from the beginning of chapter to the end of the chapter, that's it. Once the chapter is completed, regular content, once it is completed, NCERT chapter is completed. No. If you are thinking like that, you are making a mistake. Please understand this, you are making a mistake. So now I will tell you. So I am taking one example of the cell chapter. So with the help of that, anyhow in between I have added some other information from other chapters also. Overall I will tell you what exactly is from NCERT. If you know what is from NCERT, then only you will understand what is out of NCERT. You have to understand this. So now we will quickly go with this. So I will give some simple example here, so that whether you are 11th class student, 12th class student, repeat student, whoever it is, so please go through this. Please go through this. If you don't understand this, unnecessarily you will face the problem. So now we will quickly read particular this one. So what is this from NCERT? Now I will tell you what to read from NCERT. This is the many students, even some of the repeated students, even though they have completed 11th and 12th, still they are having the doubt what to read from NCERT. So for you, so before starting the course, so first please go through this video so that you can easily understand, you can easily plan your preparation, so that at the end you should not face any problem. So first let us go through this. In the NCERT, whether it is class 11th or 12th, whatever it is, so they have given some number of chapters here, and that too some 3 to 4 chapters, 3 chapters, in some cases 3 chapters is 1 unit, 4 chapters is 1 unit, in some cases 5 chapters is 1 unit, likewise. So they have divided so and so number of chapters into some units. And now if you are observing, so whenever you are going through the NCERT textbook, so definitely you are going through that unit introduction. So suppose this is a chapter, so this is the unit, this is having the 3 chapters. One is cell, the unit of life, and the other one is biomolecules, and the other one is cell cycle and cell division. So 3 chapters combinedly they have given under a single unit, and the unit name is cell, the structure and functions. So this is what they have given. And here some of the students, they are not even reading this information. Please understand, unit introduction is having some information, and many times questions were framed from this particular information also. So this information is also very important. And in the unit introduction they will give some information related to each and every chapter. So please remember some questions can be framed based on this. So whenever we are teaching, so definitely we will cover this part. We will definitely cover this part. Whenever the relevant information is coming here, so definitely we will cover this part. So please understand, unit introduction is part of NCERT. Questions can be asked from this. So you should not leave this particular part. You should compulsorily cover this particular information also. But anyhow, suppose we are talking about one particular chapter. So when we are teaching, what we will do, we will say that from here to here it is related to so and so chapter, from here to here it is related to so and so chapter, and last these sentences are related to some other chapter. So in this way we will tell. So accordingly you just mark it. So whenever we are going through this particular chapters, regular lectures, you just keep your NCERT textbook handy. So if you are saying that, you just mark it that, so from here to here it is like this. So immediately in the textbook you need to mark that, so from here to here it is belonging to so and so chapter, from here to here it is belonging to so and so chapter. Likewise, immediately you need to write it in the textbook, so that whenever you are going through that particular chapter, once the complete chapter is completed, suppose you are going through some examination, then questions can be asked from this particular introductory part also. This point you need to remember. So this is what about the unit introduction. This you need to compulsorily cover. And after that, in the next page if you are going through, generally they are talking about a particular scientist. So here they have given some huge information. Now the question here is, do you need to remember entire information? Not needed. Directly we are saying that not needed. So simply you need to remember what is the name of the scientist. This is the first important one. And where he born, where he studied, on which he did research, all these things are not needed. then what is needed? So if you are going through this particular content, somewhere some information is related to our current chapter. Somewhere in this unit, this particular scientist is related with our current chapters. So what is the chapter, and in that chapter what is the subtopic, and where exactly this scientist's contribution is related. This point you need to notice. Anyhow, when we are going through the regular chapters, at that time we will say that so and so scientist and his contribution is related to so and so chapter. And now I will give you this particular example. So in this unit, total 3 chapters are there. First one is cell, the unit of life, and then biomolecules, and then cell cycle and cell division. 3 chapters are there. And here they have given about a scientist, and his name is G.N. Ramachandran. And this scientist is related to which chapter? Biomolecules chapter. So suppose we are starting with the cell, the unit of life chapter. So at that time what I will say? So since immediately after this you will get the cell, the unit of life content. So at that time I will say that even though they have given this scientist is not related to cell, the unit of life chapter. So we will study about this scientist under biomolecules. So when we are starting about the biomolecules, that time what we will say? So here they have given about a scientist, and this scientist is related to so and so location. So exactly you will study about this particular scientist under the protein structure. Under the protein structure we will study about protein primary structure, secondary structure, tertiary structure, and even quaternary structure also. Out of this, exactly this particular information is related to secondary structure of a protein. So whenever we are studying about secondary structure of a protein, that day definitely I will show about this particular part, and then we will go about this particular scientist. And that time I will tell you what are the important sentences, what you need to underline, and what is the content that is needed for examination. So in this way, some questions are possible from scientist also. So this is also part of NCERT. Questions can be asked from this one also. But here the advantage is you don't need to remember entire information. Only some few sentences, some 2 to 3 sentences are important. If you are marking only those, that is enough for our examination. So in this way, questions can be asked from this also. So this is also part of NCERT. So this is the one point that you need to notice. Next one. Next one is regarding the regular chapter. Anyhow, regular chapter is happening. So regular chapter. So anyhow, we will start with the beginning and we are keep on going until the end. So anyhow, in this way, our regular chapters will go. So in the regular lecture, how we are exactly teaching, that I will tell you at the end of this particular lecture. So in this way, we are starting from the beginning of the chapter with the until the end of the chapter. So anyhow, we are covering each and every sentence here. So here there is no problem. And generally students are starting from here only. But what I am saying, unit introduction and even the scientist is also part of NCERT. Anyhow, you are studying this particular one, so no problem. So that part is also part of NCERT and questions can be asked from that one also. And we need to cover that one also. So anyhow, we are covering like this. When we are going through the chapter like this, and somewhere they are giving about some images, figures they are giving. And within this figure, what is the point? Sometimes they will say about some particular image and then they will give the name. Definitely they will give the name. And here along with the name, they are giving some extra information also. Please understand this. It is not just the name of the cell and they are talking about some extra information. In this diagram, what is the information they give? They are giving about the different types of the cells and their shapes. So in this way, based on this, we need to get some information. And in some cases, what they are doing, they are giving the diagram, they are giving labeling also. And please understand this, that labeling is very important to understand the regular content. And not only this, for some of the diagrams, very clearly I am telling you this, for some of the diagrams, deliberately they have given some labelings which were not discussed in the regular theory part. Please understand this. In the regular NCERT theory part, that information was not given. But deliberately they have given some new labelings in the diagram. So that is also part of NCERT. You should compulsorily know the information about that particular labeling. So whenever we are going through the regular lectures, definitely we will cover the particular information. So whenever we are going through that information, you should not feel that that is out of NCERT. Please understand that is also part of NCERT. Please, it is very, very important that you need to score very, very high in biology because the questions are very easy, almost 99.99% questions as it is they are asking from NCERT by using NCERT wordings itself. Many times they are not even changing the wordings also, they are asking as it is NCERT words. So that is the reason why we need to go through each and every sentence in specific, each and every word, even the labeling that was given in NCERT also. So in this way some diagrams were given, and that content also we need to cover. And not only the diagrams, so actually this is not related to cell chapter, this is related to biomolecules chapter, because in the cell chapter they have not given any table. So to show you some table, I have taken this particular one from the biomolecules chapter, and here they have given about a particular table. In this table they have given a huge information. And please remember, don't expect that each and everything is discussed in regular theory part. In the regular theory part, they will give some overview about this particular one, or they will give about a conclusion about this one. But specific information you can get from this particular table. So each and everything can be asked as a separate question. So the information that was given in the table is also important for examination. But anyhow, we will analyze this. So how to remember this, what to do, and what is important, what is not important, each and every point we will say. But please remember, since this is also part of NCERT, questions can be asked from this particular information also. And in this way, so if there are any some images, some tables, sometimes they will give graphs. Even though they are giving the graphs, they will say that it is the figure so and so number only. So entire content from the beginning to the end of the chapter. Suppose this is the cell chapter ending. So generally students are studying up to this, because with this the content is completed. So quickly I am telling you once again. So they are starting the chapter from here and they are ending the chapter here. That's it. 99.9% students are reading up to this one only. But those students who are actually thinking about all India ranks, those who are thinking about the best medical colleges, please keep this point in mind. So if you are doing like this, yes, 90% of the content is covered, but our rank is decided based on the remaining content, like unit introduction, information given under the scientist, and not only that, after completion of the chapter they have given about a summary. And please remember, for many chapters deliberately they gave some new sentences within the summary, and those sentences are not there in regular chapter. They have deliberately given some new sentences in the summary. So those students who are reading these particular summaries for each and every chapter, now you will get some new sentences, and they are very important. Many students are making mistake if we are asking questions on this particular content, because they are not reading summary. They are thinking that in the summary all the sentences of regular chapter are covered. It is not like that. They are giving some new sentences here. So you need to compulsorily go through this particular summary also. So when we are teaching this particular one, so we will say that what is the new sentence that was given here and that was not there in the regular chapter. So we will definitely say, and you need to immediately mark that particular sentence in the textbook, and this is what you need to do it. And whenever they are saying that we are asking a questions from so and so chapter, this is also part of the chapter, so you need to compulsorily cover summary also. Please remember this one. Next one, after the summary they are talking about some exercise. So they have given some exercise, you need to practice this. And please remember, many times many questions from the exercise were asked as it is in NEET examination. Please understand this, as it is they have asked same questions from the exercise. Since many students are not doing this exercise, they are feeling that these questions are new, and unnecessarily they are making mistakes, or else they are taking more time to understand the question itself. Please understand one more point, in the examination the time is fixed and the time will decide our rank. So you need to do this particular questions very quickly and accurately. And suppose there are two students, so one is having the practice and one did not have any practice of MCQs. So definitely those who are having the practice, they will quickly read it and they will understand in a right way, so that in a less time they are attempting the question. But the other student who did not have any enough practice, so they will take more time to understand the question itself. That means, so at the time itself, based on the time itself, you are getting lagged out, so that from the competition you will be eliminated. So that is the reason why practice is very important. Suppose you have already you have got answers for all these questions, At least for some match the following, at least they have given some MCQ type. At least for these questions you should get the answer. So because of this, what happens? Already you know the question. Same question you are reading in examination. So time will be saved. You will understand in the right way. So quickly you will go for the answer. So time will be saved. So this time you can use it for another question. So please remember. So that is the reason why practice is important. At least NCERT questions. At least NCERT based questions. Everyone should have the answer. Not only this. In the NCERT, when they are talking about some paragraphs, between the paragraphs or within the paragraphs, some in-text questions also they have given. And many students are simply leaving that question because in the NCERT they are asking the question but they are not giving the answer. So they are leaving it. Don't do this type of mistakes. Don't do this type of mistake. Even a single mistake may lead to repetition of the course. That means you may lose 1 year. So single mistake, 1 year. Please keep this particular point in the mind. So accordingly your preparation should be done. So that is the reason why I am suggesting that please go through the exercise also. You should know the answers, at least those which are MCQ type, fill in the blank type, or else match the following type. At least whatever they have given in NCERT, at least for that content you should know the answers. Okay. And next one, not only this, if you are, so generally many students they are feeling that okay, unit introduction completed, scientist information is completed, chapter from the beginning to the end it is completed, summary is completed, and even exercises are completed, and they are feeling that NCERT textbook is completed. No, it is not yet completed. If you are going through the beginning of any chapter, for each and every chapter a separate QR code was given. Please understand this. A separate QR code was given, and in the NCERT textbook itself, just behind the cover page, so they have given the directions to how to use this particular QR code information, how to get this information. So each and everything very detailed they have given. So that's why that particular part I am not giving here. So once you are going through this QR code, now you will get some QR code content. This is the content. Okay. So with the help of app also you can open this particular one, or else for each QR code below this they have given a code, and that code you can enter. So in the Google, if you are typing that NCERT QR code content, so you will get some e-resources page. In that e-resources page, if you are clicking on it, so they will ask you to enter this particular code. So below this QR code, they have given some number. So this is alphanumerical number is there. Some alphabets are there, some numbers are there. If you are entering this particular code, so you will get this particular information. So this information is the QR code content. In this content, now this is for the cell, the unit of life chapter, but for different chapters, different informations you will get. In this way, for each chapter you will get separate information. For each and every chapter, some theory part, text, PDF pages are there. And not only this, for very few chapters, they have given some video resources also. Please understand this. And now, is it needed for NEET examination? Yes, 100% it is needed, because this QR code is part of NCERT. So QR code content is also part of NCERT. If you are doing this, then only you are preparing for NEET examination. If you are skipping this or you are leaving this, that means you are not in the full competition. If you are trying that, if you are thinking that you are in the competition, so you should compulsorily do this. So here what are these particular PDFs and what is this particular video? So video, you just click on it, so you will get the video, so you can just go through the content. Please remember here also these videos, some of the videos they have very nicely they have made, and they are trying to explain some particular information. Fine. And along with this, please remember here also some content that was not there in the regular chapter was discussed in these videos also. So you need to go through this particular content, and questions can be asked from this particular discussed content also. So this is also part of NCERT. And not only this, then what about this particular PDF pages? So now I will quickly go through this particular one. So definitely one PDF is related to the MCQs belonging to that particular chapter. Whatever is the chapter, further chapter, they will give some model MCQ type questions. That is one PDF. PDF is having MCQs. And the another PDF is the answer key. But here they have not given the separate answer key. So in the single PDF, they have given the answers for all these MCQs of all the chapters. Whatever the QR code MCQs are there, for all the QR code MCQs of that particular, suppose it is for 11th class, one PDF having for each chapter name and each question wise they have given the answers, and the same PDF. So chapter wise separate MCQs question and answer key. These two are compulsory PDFs for each and every QR code. And along with this, they have given one more PDF, and in this PDF it is a short answer type questions, very short answer type questions. Now you may think that why to do this type of questions? NEET examination is not a theory based, it is an MCQ type question. So why should we refer this particular one? Don't think like that, They have given very nice questions, very nice questions in this, and questions, MCQ questions can be framed based on this particular content also. So this is also part of NCERT, and each and every student should go through this particular PDF. And actually in this PDF what they did is, suppose it is for 11th class, for all the 11th class chapters they have given some few questions, and completely this entire PDF is related to complete 11th class. So in this way they have made this particular one. So number of questions are not huge, but I am suggesting that each and every student should go through this particular content. Okay, and if possible you just get the printout of this, printout for this particular PDF, and then what are the questions and to which chapter they will belong. If you want to write, you just write that, so that whenever you are going through that specific chapter, so then you can cover those particular questions. I think that will be the better one. Okay, so you need to compulsorily cover this particular PDF also. And apart from this, so up to this these are compulsory, and apart from this, for different chapters they have uploaded different other PDFs. And what are these other PDFs? And in these PDFs deliberately they have given some extra theory part. Please understand, this is the PDF that is related to Animal Kingdom chapter. So in the Animal Kingdom actually they have given 2 extra theory PDFs. For theory itself they have given 2 extra PDFs. In one PDF what they have given some information like this. They have given an organism and they have given some information related to like this. So in this way different organisms and the information related to that specific organism. In this way they have given one particular PDF. So since they have given this under the QR code, and that QR code is part of NCERT, so this information is also part of NCERT. So from the beginning itself, why I am saying from the beginning, because generally many students they are trying to refer the QR code content at the last 1 month just before examination. That last 1 month they are trying to read it. For each and every chapter, you just imagine these many PDFs are there. Do you really think that you can cover this information in 1 month? It is not possible. And that too, at that time already you are under the stress. So that is the reason why, as and when a particular chapter is completed, so please go through this QR code content also, so that it will be very easy. And since the chapter is recently completed, so you can easily relate the information, so you can easily understand the content. So my suggestion is, once the particular chapter is completed, please complete the QR code content also. So in this way they have given one particular theory extra PDF, one PDF for extra theory information. This is one thing. And here this is another PDF. In the same Animal Kingdom they have uploaded another PDF, and this is also theory part. And here also they have covered some theory information regarding different organisms. So please understand, since this is also part of QR code, this is also part of NCERT, every student should compulsorily go through this specific information also. So in this way, for that particular QR code content, what are the different PDFs they have given, go through that content, and whatever the different videos they have given, that also you just go through it. And then another important point is, in some of the PDFs of QR code, this is also part of QR code. In some of the PDFs of QR code, they are talking about some experiment. So in this experiment, there is an aim is there, procedure is there, and how exactly the principle, working mechanism also they have given, and finally they have given a conclusion. Okay, and then what the conclusion means, what is the observation, and then what is the conclusion. So in this way they have given about some experiment also. And now the students are getting the doubt, what to read from this particular experiment. So do you need to remember the entire procedure of how you are doing this one? No. In my opinion, for the NEET examination, procedure part is not needed. Then what is needed? First thing you need to understand is, what is the aim? If you know the aim, you will understand the conclusion. So aim and conclusion are related to each other. So what is that overall conclusion of that particular experiment, that you should know. And in that experiment you don't need to remember the procedure, but if you are able to understand why you are adding those particular chemicals or why you are doing those particular steps, so sequentially one after the other what actually you are doing. So if you are able to understand that particular part, that is much better, much better. So you just try to understand the procedure, why they are doing that procedure in that particular sequence. So because of the adding of so and so, what actually they are they eliminating something, or they are trying to do something there. So are they converting from one form to another form? So what are actually they are doing? So that also you just try to understand. And the most important point is the principle. What is the working principle? For every experiment there will be one principle will be there. So what is the principle for that particular experiment? That also you need to remember. So in this way, understand the experiment and try to get some conclusions out of it. And my suggestion is, you just get the printout of this particular PDF for each and every chapter, whatever is there. And what is the important point, you just simply underline or highlight that and then leave it. So that what happens is, so once you are for the first time whenever you are reading, so try to understand all these points and then you just highlight the important points. So whenever in future you are referring this, you don't need to go through the entire one. Already you have highlighted and you have marked the important ones. You just go through that and then you will get the conclusion. And questions can be based on these conclusions also, because this is also part of NCERT. Please understand, this is what you need to understand. What is NCERT content? We are saying that NCERT is the major reference for our NEET examination. But from that NCERT, what actually we need to cover? So quickly I am telling you, unit introduction, and just behind that next page is regarding that scientist, and that content also you need to cover. And then anyhow regular chapter from the beginning to the ending, including all the images, tables, graphs, if anything they have given, everything should be covered. Plus summary that was given at the end of the chapter and exercise that was given in the regular textbook. This is from the regular textbook. And apart from this, for each chapter at the beginning they are giving about the QR code. So QR code, whatever the PDFs they are giving, whether it is related to some experiment or some extra theory information, whatever it is, that one. And if videos are given, that videos also you need to do it. So this is what about the NCERT content. If you are doing all these things, then only you can say that you are ready with NCERT content. So if you are doing all these things, then you are 99% ready for the examination. Then what about that remaining 1%? Don't worry about that 1%. So we will take care about that 1% also. So what is that 1%? Generally we use the word that is called as out of NCERT or out of the content. So is it really out of the content? So this point we need to actually discuss now. So that point now I will talk about. Now what is out of NCERT content? Then how you will decide that it is, whether it is out of NCERT or is it part of NCERT? And please understand, if you are going through NCERT sentences, you will know one important point, that some sentences are not directly linked with each other. So now you just imagine, if two sentences which were given back to back and that too they are not related, then how you will relate them with each other? So that means there are some gaps between these sentences. So that particular content is needed for proper understanding of NCERT. So that content, many students are feeling that that is out of NCERT, but that is not actually out of NCERT. So we will cover all those connecting links also. We will cover that connecting links in the regular teaching part. And please remember, you should not call that as out of NCERT. That is also part of NCERT, because that content is very important to understand NCERT sentences. If we are not teaching that content, you cannot understand that particular sentences. So that's why any sentences that we are using or any information that we are teaching to connect the NCERT sentences, so that is also part of NCERT. So that is not out of NCERT, that is also part of NCERT. Then what is out of NCERT? Now this point you need to understand. Generally what happens is, suppose let us talk about a particular process that is called as DNA replication. So regarding the DNA replication in the class 12th under the chapter that is called molecular basis of inheritance, they have given. So first let us see here. See, regarding the process of translation, they have not mentioned in NCERT. If you are clearly observing the heading here, they are talking about machinery and the enzymes. That's it. They are not talking about the original procedure, sequential procedure of the DNA replication was not given. And that too, in the NCERT, they are not clearly talking about each and every enzyme or each and every protein or each and every molecule and its function. Superficially, because it is just the beginning for your higher classes. So that is the reason why here what they are trying to do is, they are trying to introduce some new concepts, and that too they don't want to complicate that, and that too they don't want to give complete information, because if you are really talking about the molecular biology itself is one complete course. So they don't want to do that much. So simply they are giving some introduction. So in that introduction also basic information only they are giving. So now the problem is, whenever we are teaching that particular part, so if you are expecting that we want to teach only the NCERT sentences, it is highly difficult. You cannot understand anything. So in that case, what we do is, we will go little bit higher level. We will go little bit higher level. And please remember, when we are teaching that, we will definitely say that this information is not given in NCERT. So this is out of NCERT. You don't need to remember each and every point of that. Whatever is out of NCERT, you don't need to remember that. Then why we are teaching that particular part? If you know that content, you can easily understand NCERT sentences. Only for that purpose we will teach some out of NCERT content also, we will teach it, but at that time itself we will say that this is not needed. So whenever we are teaching the out of NCERT content, our suggestion is, you don't need to remember any information of out of NCERT content, but if you are at least little bit aware of that information, regular NCERT content will become very easy for you. For that purpose only we will discuss about that particular out of NCERT content. So in this way, whenever we are going with out of NCERT content, and not only that, generally what happens, so in many of the reference books they will give huge information about scientists. So that information is not needed. So what is needed? Only that part. What is not needed? Suppose we are talking about that what is not needed, definitely we will say that it is out of NCERT. So those who are interested, you can go through this, okay. But it is not mandatory that you should compulsorily remember that particular part. But what is compulsory, even though not given in NCERT, even though we are teaching something, we will say that this is very important, you should compulsorily remember. In that case, that is important, you should compulsorily remember that, because that is very important to understand NCERT sentences. Or else somewhere that information is related with some other chapter, because biology is not like individual chapters are there. Biology, human system, all these are interconnected with each other. So some information we studied in some chapter may be related with some other chapter. So what we will do is, to make that particular part easy, what we will do is, whenever we are teaching this particular part, we will talk about that. And whenever we are talking about that, at that time we will say that already we studied so and so information in so and so chapter, so that is linked up like this. So in this way, for interlinking information, so definitely we need to discuss something. So at that point you may feel that that is out of NCERT, but that is not actually out of NCERT, that is also part of NCERT. So we will say each and every point, whether it is compulsory or not, everything. So you please follow those instructions, so that your preparation will be smooth and perfect, so that you will get the best rank in NEET examination. Is it clear? So in this way we need to go about this, what is out of NCERT, what is not out of NCERT. So this content you need to understand. Next one is how actually we are teaching the NCERT content. So because of this our experience, and already we have encountered the students in the offline for more than a decade. So where actually the students are facing the problem, and what is the best and easy method to explain the content. So in that way we are trying to explain this particular content. So you don't need to worry about that particular one. And then what about the out of NCERT content? Regarding this separately I will talk here. And next one, and how exactly we are teaching a particular chapter. So here general idea I am giving, so that whenever you are starting the regular course, so at that time you will be ready for that particular type of teaching pattern. So here actually what we are doing is, in a regular chapter what we will do. So generally on an average, so here I have also one question also, what is the lecture duration? On an average 40 to 45 minutes will be the lecture duration for a regular theory part lecture, okay, for a regular course, okay. This will be the duration for each lecture. And then how exactly we are teaching that particular one. So in the 40 or 45 minutes what happens, so we need to explain the regular content. So maybe one paragraph or 1.5 paragraphs. So information may be covered. Okay, it all depends upon the content and what is the interlinking part that is required based on that. So in this way, what we will do, first we will do the complete explanation for that particular part. So after completion of the particular explanation for that particular part, then we will go with NCERT reading also. This is because in the initial course of my teaching experience, so I used to do only the NCERT explanation part, that's it, and students are used to study this. And then after few years, what I observed is, so along with explanation, so once explanation for that particular part is completed, for that particular explanation, what are the NCERT lines? So what I did is, so I told students to bring the NCERT textbooks to the lecture every day, so that they will keep the NCERT textbook open. So once explanation is over, so I asked the students to open the textbooks, and then whatever is that day's part is there, only for that content we need to go through the NCERT lines. What are the NCERT lines related to this particular explanation? So what is the advantage of this particular type of teaching? So please understand, generally in the NCERT what they will do, they will give some conclusions, fine. But the thing is, when a teacher is explaining the same thing in the regular lecture, we will not use same words as it is. Generally we will use synonyms for that. Yes or no? So when we are using the synonyms, generally what we will do, we will use some simple English terms. The thing is, the explanation is easy to understand. So every student is able to understand what is the explanation that we are giving. But the problem is, the same student is able to understand the lecture in the classroom, but after going to the home, once they are reading the NCERT textbook, now the same sentences are not there here. The words that we used for explanation is something different, and the NCERT wording itself is something different. And now you just tell me, you understood the entire concept, but you are not able to understand the NCERT line. Then what is the ultimate use for NEET examination? The thing is, you need to understand the NCERT words also. If you are not able to understand the NCERT words, there is no use in preparation. So that is the reason why what I did is, after the completion of explanation, we use it to go through the NCERT lines for that particular part only. So that what happens, student is able to understand explanation and also able to understand NCERT lines also. So generally what we do is, when we are reading the NCERT lines, suppose a word is appearing little bit difficult, I use it to say that underline this, and for this it is the meaning, so we will give a synonym for that. So since you are writing that synonym on the top of that particular word itself, whenever you are reading the NCERT on your own, you don't need the assistance of someone else. Directly you can read and you can understand each and every sentence. Once you understood the sentence, yes, you can understand anything. So you can easily solve the MCQs. Definitely you can get a best score that is ever possible. So this is what our pattern is. So this is how, so for that particular day, so we will teach that particular content. Once the content is completed, so here itself we will show the NCERT lines for that particular information, and then we will read it, we will explain that once again, so that your preparation will be complete. You can understand each and every sentence. There is no feeling that you did not understand something. So you will understand everything. And one more thing, you should understand everything. If you are having any doubt, immediately you need to contact us, because biology is such a subject. If you are not clarifying your doubts, so that doubt will be accumulated, and this doubt will lead to another doubt. So entire content will become trouble. So please clarify your doubts as and when you are getting those particular doubts. Okay. So this is how we are actually planning our teaching. And next one is, what is the information regarding out of NCERT content? Suppose we are talking about some out of NCERT content. Suppose we are going with some regular lecture. In the regular lecture, I may need to explain, maybe it may take 5 minutes. So I may be talking about some out of NCERT content. That is out of NCERT content. But it will not take much time, and I need to teach that particular part there itself. Suppose I am thinking that I will teach at the end of the chapter, there is no use, because you cannot link it. So if it is out of NCERT content, and if I need to teach that particular part at that time, so I will say that this is out of NCERT content, and there itself I will say whether it is important to remember or not. Some contents are important to remember, so that information I will say that, so this is important to remember. So you accordingly you need to read that one, and you need to note that one, and you need to write that this is important to read. Suppose I am giving this one as an explanation so that you can understand the normal information, but you don't need to remember that one for examination. In that case, I will say there itself. So in this way, as part of regular lecture, sometimes we may discuss about out of NCERT content. So there itself I will tell about that particular one. And apart from that, so there are some extra contents, informations are there. Generally what happens is some students need some extra information. So what is the advantage of this extra? Myself I am saying that this is extra and not needed for examination. Then what is the use of that particular information for NEET examination? Technically it is not needed, but sometimes what happens is some extra informations whatever we are studying, they will make our concepts clear. Once the concepts are clear, original regular content will become easy for us. So for that particular purpose, some out of NCERT content may be needed sometimes, not always. So in that case what we will do is, if this information is not needed to discuss in regular chapter, then we will not discuss in regular chapter. So what we will do is, at the end of the chapter, once the chapter is completed, so we will give that some extra lecture 1, extra lecture 2, likewise some extra lectures we will upload, so that those who are interested, you can go through that content, so that may be useful. So if you are feeling that is useful, so now you can interlink with this content. So we will say that anyhow in the extra lecture also we will say that how this information is useful and where it can be interlinked, everything we will say. So those who are interested, you can go through that extra lectures, and those who are feeling that is not needed, you can simply ignore that, you just simply do the regular course. Okay, so anyhow under the regular course you will get all these videos. So from the chapter beginning to the ending, if you are doing, that is enough. So in this way, so this is some extra optional information, so that will be given at the end of the chapter. Clear? So in this way also we will discuss about some information related to this out of NCERT content. And next one is regarding interlinking content. I already told you biology is interlinking information. So information studied in one chapter may be related with some other chapter. So this type of interlinking is one thing. Other thing is, in the same chapter under different subtopics they may be discussing some information, and this information studying in the beginning of the chapter may be used at the end of the chapter. So in this way some interlinkings are there. So whenever interlinkings are there, we will clearly specify that this is the interlinking content. This content we will discuss in so and so chapter, so and so location. Suppose the same chapter, so and so location, we will say that. And this interlinking information we will discuss at both the locations. Suppose once we are starting about the first one, so here also we will talk about this, and once we are going through this particular one, there also we will say that already we studied this information is interlinking. So interlinking information we will discuss at both the locations. So in this way it will become easy for you. So once you understood the interlinking, so concept will become clear and you can understand the contents very clearly, so that you don't need to by heart it. See, some information, majority of the information in biology is some content based. That means, so it will be having some internal logic. If you understood the logic, content will be easy. You don't need to by heart that. So 70 to 80% information is logic based. So try to understand the logic. So we will give that logic, and remaining information like examples, some terms are there. So they are memory based. You need to by heart those particular things. Okay. So whatever is the memory based, that you need to remember, but whatever is logic based, don't try to by heart that. Try to understand the logic, so that automatically remaining information you can interlink. Okay, anyhow we will teach all the things in the regular chapter. So this is what about the interlinking content. And then the most important thing is regarding the class notes. What to do about the class notes? Please remember here, so whenever we are discussing a particular chapter, so we will teach in the regular pattern. And here we will not say that write this one, write this one, write this one. So if it is important, we will say that note it down, that's it. So that you just note it down. And next, what about the regular notes? See, generally every student wants, we cannot remember, suppose once you are observing a lecture, so you cannot remember entire content like this. We need some notes also. So please remember, we will provide the notes separately in the app. In the app, you will get the notes lecture wise. For each lecture, we will provide the notes. So anyhow, that notes is covering almost all the sentences. Entire information will be covered in the notes. But still some students, they feel that if they are writing notes on their own, they will feel that is much better than whatever the notes we are providing. Anyhow we are providing, those who want to use it, you can use that notes. But those who want to write on your own, so then accordingly when the lecture is going on, then you need to write it. So if you want to pause it, you just pause it and you just write it. Okay. So in this way, so we are providing our notes. So you don't need to, technically directly I am saying that you don't need to write any separate notes, you can directly use that notes. But those who are trying to write on their own, yes, that is your wish, yes, you can proceed and you can write your own notes. And this is what about the regular lectures for a particular chapter. And along with this, we are providing separate videos for once the complete chapter explanation, everything is over. Once that is completed, after that you will get a separate single video. The duration may be between 1 hour to 2 hours based on the length of the chapter. If the chapter is too big, it is difficult to complete the entire chapter in 1 hour. So in this way, so one video, so you can call it as a one shot video for the entire chapter. So you will get this separate video in the app itself. So once the complete chapter is over, suppose after few days you want to revise the particular chapter, so directly you just go through this, you will get this. But here we are preparing two different videos. Please understand this. Here we are preparing two different videos. What are these two different videos? In the first video, we will cover the NCERT content, but we will not show you the NCERT line to line. It is the NCERT complete content explanation in one single video. Complete concept will be discussed here, and this is single video. But this cannot be a single video because these are some, based on the length of the size, you may get between the 2 to 5 lectures likewise on an average, I am saying. Because in these videos what we do is we will read NCERT line to line from the beginning of the chapter to the end of the chapter. Please understand this. Why this is important? Why this is important? Because generally students, what they do is before going for examination, they feel that they want to go through NCERT line to line. So when they are reading it, sometimes what happens, see, suppose today we are discussing about the lecture. So up to 1 month you may remember the content. But what about after 6 months? What about after 7 months? You are slowly forgetting the content. So at that time what happens is when you are reading the NCERT, so you may not be able to understand them properly. So for that type of student, not only for those students, it will be available in the app. Everyone can go through this, and I suggest that everyone please go through these videos. So that what we do is we will read the NCERT line and there itself we will give the explanation. So that it will be like quick NCERT line to line, word to word reading for you. So that this will be much helpful for you. Please understand this. So these videos also we will upload. And since it will take little bit more time for explanation, so in single video it cannot be completed. So you will get some 2 to 5 lectures in the range. Okay. Sometimes it may be more also. We will give this one also. So those, suppose once the complete chapter is completed, suppose you want to revise all of them little bit quickly. Suppose a regular chapter is taking suppose 20 to 30 lectures. So you may not be having that much of time. In those cases, these videos are much useful for you, because in 5 to 6 lectures, you can read and revise each and every word of NCERT. So when we are doing this explanation, we will also tell you about, so how they may ask you the questions based on so and so word they can ask the question, and like this they may ask the question, like this also we will discuss some of them. Anyhow, you will get separate assignments, but all this discussion we will do in this particular type of videos. And after that we will talk about QR code theory part. So now regarding the QR code content, some of the students may be having the doubt, what to do with this QR code content, how we will deal with this. Don't worry about this. For that QR code content, if it is a theory part, yes, we will discuss about that one. If they are MCQ based questions, for that also we will do a separate video. So QR code MCQs with explanation, answers, everything, even though they have given answer key, from our side we will give you the complete explanation, because for some of the questions answer key has some mistakes. So that is the reason why we will give the correct answers with explanation. Everything we will discuss in this particular videos. And here regarding the theory part, in this theory part itself, if they are giving some new experiments, those things also we will discuss. And what are the important points for examination, all the things from our side we will provide you. The only thing is you need to be little bit serious regarding your examination. You just note it down, you just mark it, or you just highlight the information that is required, so that next time whenever you are reading, you don't need to waste the time. So if you are already marking the important things, you just go through that content, the preparation will be complete. This is what we are doing. And not only this, you will get separate video regarding the previous year questions, PYQs, okay, NEET examination previous questions. So chapter wise discussion will be given, okay, for each chapter. Suppose you are talking about the cell the unit of life chapter, so for that chapter previous questions will be discussed separately. In this way, for each and every chapter, previous questions will be discussed. So that, once your preparation is completed, so then you can go through these PYQs, so that you can test yourself about your preparation of that particular chapter. So in this way, this will be much useful for you. And not only this, so we will also discuss about the numericals. So are numericals needed for each and every chapter of biology? No. So numerical related chapters are very few, very few. If that particular chapter is having some numerical questions, so definitely we will have some separate videos for that numerical solving. Okay. So in this way, generally the genetics and some numerical questions are possible based on the cell cycle, cell division chapter. So wherever these numericals are there, so there we will discuss about this numerical part also in a separate video. So in this way, so we are planning our complete preparation. And here myself Dr. Y.N. Gajapati Varma, and I can speak total 4 languages. So English, Hindi, Telugu and Marathi. So even though these languages are available, please understand our medium of instruction will be English only. So better. So when we are teaching, so we are teaching only in English. No other language will be used. But when we are discussing about some doubts or something, whenever we are having some interaction with us, so my suggestion is please try. So even though you are making some mistakes, no problem. So please try to ask the questions or please try to discuss in English better. Suppose you are having some trouble in this, so then you can ask your doubts in Hindi or Telugu or Marathi, so no problem. So with respect to Marathi, so I can understand but I cannot speak it, so no problem. So whenever I am speaking this, I will speak in Hindi, at least those who are from Marathi, so no problem, we can manage with this. Okay, so in this way, but please understand our medium of instruction will be English only. Better please try to ask your questions in English only, so that will be better for both of us. Okay, so this is what about this particular one. And please remember for the biology, all the questions, almost all out of the 100 questions, 99 questions will be asked from NCERT content only. And even that single question, many times it is from NCERT only, but sometimes it is appearing as out of NCERT, but that is not a problem. So anyhow, we are covering the content. In that content, we can cover that particular question also. But please remember, this is very important. Don't expect that something should come very easily. Once we are doing the hard work, then only we are able to face the particular problem. So but that's the reason why, so always please focus for higher one. The aim should be high, so that we can achieve that particular one. So generally some students are feeling that, suppose for different states the cutoff will be different one. Suppose for a particular state the cutoff is 580 marks to get a government MBBS. So generally students are saying that, so if I get 580, that is enough. Don't aim like that. When you are having more capability, why to aim for 580 marks? Yes or no? So in this way, aim for the best and you just give your best. Definitely we will provide best from our side. Okay, thank you my dear friends. So we will meet in the regular lecture. Thank you so much.